will be free. For when the rising tide is turned in every London quarter, Parliament comes crashing down with Robert's Rules of Order.
All right, we are on. It's me, right?
She's like, I don't want this one. I want dinner.
Yeah. We are on the 7th, right?
Yes.
It's me,
Yes.
right? Okay, we are on the 7th, and
Yes.
it's me. And in this session, composing multiple meetings, we are almost done. But, all righty. You ready?
Yep.
You sure?
No.
Okay.
Can
not either.
I phone a friend?
No phoning a friend, but you can phone a beagle. In a convention, we need dum-dum, that music, you know. Parliamentary standing rules generally arise from a need to give, A, the majority more power, B, the majority more power to transact business with minimum delay, C, more power to the officers in the transaction of necessary business, D, the majority and minority equal power.
Okay, first of all, it sure in the heck isn't C. Eliminate that one immediately, because it's not about the officers.
Right. Though they often think it is.
Yes. This is one of those questions I wish we would bring up in the next bylaws committee meeting, because we're discussing the standing rules, and it would help for them to understand us. A is what again?
The majority more power.
No. We can. That's not the point, because we always must be sure we protect the rights of the minority. So B is...
The majority more power to transact business with minimum delay.
Possible. D?
The majority and minority equal power.
The without delay thing is what makes me lean a little bit towards B, but I also know that D has got to be correct, because we got to respect the rights of the minority while conducting business.
But equally?
Yeah, let me think, because on one hand, you know, when you're talking about minority and majority, you're dealing with, your immediate thought is dealing with like majority and minority reports of committees.
But you're also dealing in votes.
Right. I'm still going to stick with B.
With B?
Yeah.
The majority more power to transact business with minimum delay.
Because of the minimum delay part.
Okay. And I succeeded in peeling off another. I've got all kinds of peelies down here. All right.
You know, it's like a serial killer. You do the murder, and you gotta keep a piece of it to remember your accomplishments. Trophies. This is normal behavior.
Hopefully Xena won't eat them.
She won't eat them. That was satisfying. The answer is B. You were correct. Oh my God, they give a whole chapter.
Oh my God, are you serious?
I don't know what to make of that. Reference.
Chapter 19, reference page 621.
Is that a page?
I'm guessing it's a page.
Let me see. Yeah, that's a page. Just that page? Okay.
Hold on.
Don't trust me. I'm very untrustworthy right now. I'm not qualified to drive a motorized vehicle. That's why I have the dog.
621, chapter 19, section 59. We're in section 59.
Okay.
This is why I disagree that it belongs to the convention committee, because the committee on standing rules is a separate committee, not the convention
Right.
committee.
And convention committee has its own agenda.
Which is organizing the damn thing.
Right.
Yes.
And possibly because the convention committee, the board really has its fingers in it.
Yes.
Yeah. No. I don't. Well, I'm not even getting into that. That whole thing gives me.
Therein lies a tale, yeah.
Yeah. That whole. Okay. Okay. If you really want to get a headache, and maybe it's just me because I've been drinking. 621. That whole starred footnote.
The reason why a parliamentary standing rule of a convention can be suspended by a majority vote, even though it requires a 2/3 vote for its adoption, is as follows.
But doesn't it require 2/3?
Because you have to suspend the rules in the first place.
Yeah, but so what's that majority come from? Okay, let's go back here. Suspension of a convention standing rule.
Any standing rule of a convention except one prescribing the parliamentary authority can be suspended for a particular specified purpose by a majority vote, even if the rule required a 2/3 vote for its adoption.
I think, let me see if you agree. I think they're making the distinction between a standing rule and a special rule of order. Special rules of order require 2/3.
Yes.
And a standing rule would require a majority.
But isn't it okay? So here's the question: when someone has to make a motion to suspend the rules to amend the agenda for something, is the agenda considered a special rule of order?
Yes.
Okay.
I think. I'm not like 100% certain on that. I'm learning with you.
This sounds like the case of interrupts versus instance in Magic the Gathering.
This is something. Okay, let's go back to page 619.
Okay.
If a standing rule of convention is voted on individually, the vote necessary for its adoption
Where are you?
on page 619,
bottom.
yeah,
Okay.
is in some cases 2/3, and in some cases a majority.
So much of standing rules requiring a 2/3 vote for adoption, even individually, are in principle distinguished by the same characteristics as provisions which in an ordinary level sided would need 2/3 to be placed in effect for the duration of the meeting or special session, or would require adoption as a special rule of order.
Exactly. So that's what the difference is.
Yeah.
They're judging between a standing rule and a special rule of order. So a standing rule has to deal with the how did they describe it in the very beginning of this book? They described it better than I did, where I could just confuse that whole committee. Even when I read it, though, I confused. So standing rules in the beginning, page 18 defines the difference between standing rules and special rules.
Now I gotta go digging.
Which I think we have an error in our thing with Colorado, which I'll tell you in a second. Right, they're related to the details of the administration of a society rather than parliamentary procedure.
Hold up a minute. Trying to get to the right page. Here we go. A standing rule can be adopted by majority vote without previous notice, provided that it does not conflict with or amend any rule or act of the society. A standing rule remains in effect till rescinded or amended, but if it has its application only within the context of a meeting, it can be suspended by a particular session, but not for future sessions, by a majority vote. Okay.
Okay, so the nature of a standing, because even a standing rule that's in your bylaws can be suspended, even though it's in your bylaws.
We know that.
Right, so a standing rule, it is things which are related to the details of the administration. So the rules such as your cell phones must be off.
Yes.
You must be at microphone A. You can't stand behind this line. Those are all standing rules.
Right.
You can only speak X times in debate. That's a special rule of order. So the error I think we have in Colorado is we're calling them all standing rules.
Yeah, we are.
It should actually be called convention standing rules and special rules of order.
Oh, they're going to love that in the committee.
Because it's both.
Yeah.
Just calling them all standing rules is improper.
No, I agree with you.
Right.
Yeah. And that may be a mistake we've carried through from the last couple of years. But
It could be. I mean, if we're going to be technical, we could just call them convention rules, and then depending on how they're each interpreted. I think that's probably easier.
But then we have to list for each one whether it's a standing rule or a
No,
special rule.
it would be determined by the chair at the time, or the parliamentarian. But so I guess where we're going with this is,
We got to revisit our standing rules.
yeah, that, and it didn't really answer this question, but it makes sense. You have to protect the minority, but you also cannot have the tyranny of the minority or the majority. So you protect the minority, but the minority cannot always just throw, throw crap in the cogs
Okay,
of
but
the machinery.
listen to this line. This is back under the asterisk. Okay, this is why I said, why it says B. In a convention, parliamentary standing rules which are in the nature of suspensions of the regular rules of order for the duration of the convention session generally arise from a need to give the majority more power to transact business with a minimum delay, even when the majority is not large enough to command a 2/3 vote.
because it's standing rules,
Right.
not special rules of order.
Yeah.
So if there's a particular standing rule, such as you have to be behind microphone A,
Right.
and it turns out that's just a royal freaking pain in the ass that's adding 10 hours to this convention,
Right.
you can suspend it with a majority.
Yeah, that makes sense.
All right. Kind of confusing, but
That's where the details matter.
Yep. All righty.
This one is one I think that maybe they should be watching on the committee because it's a key point. They'll have
There
to
you go.
bring this up.
But when you reason through it,
Yeah.
it's really not that complicated. This book makes it more complicated than it needs to be. I
Which is
think.
probably why people complain about it. Okay.
Whew, that was delicious. All
Folks,
righty.
I promise if she spontaneously combusts, we'll put the fire out.
Okay. I had a witty answer, but it went away.
Give me a calendar.
All right, that's it for today. Next one.
Give me a calendar.
Oh,
I can't ask a question without a calendar.
Favor! Let's hear the opposition side. Like a stubborn donkey's bray. All opposed? You say nay. Opposed! Opposed! The motion carries anyway.